Hani, and today I will be presenting my pitch. So starting from the very first slide, I talked about the concept of my documentary, which is a documentary about environmental pollution, and I was basically showing, I had my documentary divided in two halves, and I was showing what Earth gave us. So basically the fascinating and the eye-catching sides of the world and the nature in the first half, and in the second half I was showing what are we giving to Earth in response, which is basically the atrocious and the terrible, like trashed and polluted sides of the world. So I wanted to make this project to show people what we are doing to the planet instead of taking care of it, and to come up with like solutions. We had to prevent this from happening, and I wanted to show all the causes of environmental pollution, such as smoking, transport, factories, etc. And yes, and since my documentary was divided in two halves, I was basically giving each half 2.5 minutes, and my documentary in general would be 5 minutes long. Then on the second slide, I showed my schedule, which basically helped me be more organized, and yes, to know what I was doing each week and to not get lost basically. So I could come and just look at my schedule and know what was I doing. Then I talked about my 3 similar products, and the first similar product is Plastic Movie. This film is featuring the child looking through a telescope made out of a plastic bottle. And this narrative of the film basically helps people to see the plastic crisis through the imagination and eyes of a child. And it also shows how humanity and also like other organisms can be affected with the plastic pollutions. And they use child in the film so that it could be a good influence to their parents to stop using single-use plastic. And we must take an action. Basically, that's what the whole short film was about. And yes, and this for the second similar product is a home. It's a documentary which unfolds the tragic story of the Earth, and it basically shows everything, how everything started, like how it developed, and how our Earth is dying little by little every single day, thanks to the humanity and their influence to our Earth. And it basically teaches us that we must do everything within our power to individually and collectively make sure that we give back back the world everything that it has given us. So it also helps us take our self-development to the next level, and also to have a better sense of life and the community. The last similar product is An Inconvenient Truth, and this documentary is about global warming. And in the documentary, A.I. Gore, the former United States vice president, was basically presenting and talking about and raising awareness of the issue, the climate change, and was encouraging people to take action against it. It also shows us how global warming has affected millions of lives around the world. And yes, and then I have my primary target audience, and this is my own research, and for this research I did focus groups with my classmates, and they told me about the strengths, weaknesses and opportunities and threats of my idea. And it also helped me know why I was doing this project, and it also helped me think about, for example, to spread the message and show people what we're doing to our planet instead of taking care of it. It also helped me identify possible threats, such as finding people to interview or the documentary being too boring or too generic. And yes, other than the focus group, I also conducted research using Google Forms, where I asked people questions about their opinions on this topic and what will they do to change it. So that's basically everything about my primary target audience. And for the secondary target audience, I found this survey online, which was done in the UK, where they were basically asking people what about their opinions on the climate change and environmental pollution and issues. And as based on my research, millennials were more concerned about the future of our planet, and they were the ones who mostly changed their lifestyles to basically help the world and the future of our world or Earth. For the next slide, it's about how I plan on getting the feedback, and that was basically by sending my work to professionals, students, friends, tutors, and also doing focus groups, which I already mentioned before. Surveys, which I found online, as I mentioned before, and also posting my work in different social media groups. However, I was not really able to do that, but I conducted research with other ways that I already mentioned. Then also contacting professionals and using online forums. Moving on to my next slide, it's about the equipment, and my equipment were simply tripod and the camera, but to be honest, at the end I was not able to get this camera since it was already taken, and yeah, it was already used by other students and I was not able to get it, so I mostly filmed in my iPhone 13 Pro Max. Then for the other slide, it's about the color palette. So as I already said, my documentary is divided in two halves. In the first half, I had a lot of like green colors, like more brighter colors, like more, this type of colors, which was basically more bright and like full with life and stuff. And for the second half of my documentary, it's about trashed and polluted side of the world. So I wanted the colors to be more darker, as in the first half, to show the difference between the two halves. Then those are the feedbacks that I got from students, and like the strengths and opportunities. For example, the strengths was that idea was unique and it provided the opportunity to address a number of themes. And the opportunities, for example, was that spreading the word for environmental pollution, that was exactly what I wanted. And here comes the weaknesses and threats. And for the weaknesses, for example, one of them was that it might be hard to film since many people have already done this. So this feedback helped me to come up with like more unique idea, and which would be like different from others. And threats would be, for example, it will take me a lot of time to find locations and people who have the same passion as me to interview. However, I did not conduct interviews because that's not what I was really going for. I wanted my documentary to be focused on the visual parts. So yes. Then you have the camera shots, like the establishing shot, extreme wide shot, point of view shot, close-up shot, medium shot, and long shot. Those are the pictures that I found in Google. Those are my mood boards. This is the budget research that I conducted, where I basically compared two types of equipment with each other, and it described why one was better than the other, for example. But as I already mentioned before, this was not as useful because I had to film with my phone instead, since the cameras and the were not available. But it helped me. This whole process helped me improve my problem-solving skills. Then here's the locations. The first location, the main location, was Holland Park, and the reason I chose this place was that the nature there is like very speculative, and then the really eye-catching, and there was like a lot of nature and stuff, a lot of places that I could film. Then there was Frying Barnet Retail Park, which is quite close to my house, and I already been there, so I know that there are many places that I could film as well. For example, pond with like a lot of ducks in it, and on the way to that place there are like many, as you can see in this picture. You cannot see in this picture, but on these roads there are a lot of trash, so I could film that as well. Then we have the Battersea Power Station, where I filmed. When I wanted to film the scene of the smoke coming out of those chimneys, but I think it's closed most of the time and it's not working, so I was not able to capture the smoke. So I would say that my shot failed in these locations, but I took shots like this, like long and wide shots, and I also filmed the close-up shots on the chimneys as well. So I was able to edit the smoke effect later. So as I was talking about this before, this is here I'm talking about the smoke effect. So I watched those YouTube tutorials to get the smoke effect, and yes, since I wanted to have it in my film, because otherwise just including the shots of the building would not make much sense, I just watched the YouTube tutorials, and that's basically how I was able to get the smoke effect, by doing some maskings in Final Cut Pro. And yes, lastly we have a typography which I recently added. This is the typography my tutor suggested me to use. This is the typography from Killing Eve, which is an experimental. This type Villanelle is an experimental display typeface meant to feel erratic, uneasy, and shamelessly self-obsessed, much like Murderer's Namesake. So it's perfect. It perfectly embodies the demeanor of the likable, psychotic, and frequently lethal assassin from the BBC America television series Killing Eve. I used this font in the second half of my film, where instead of the voiceover I had to use words to describe each scene. So I think it turned out pretty well. I also decreased the opacity, as like you see in those pictures, and I used the same font basically. And this was my inspiration for the typography. That was it for my pitch. Thank you.